The big differentiating factor that I believe will lead to the Guardians getting to 100 or being the better team in this division when the season ends, it comes down to the bullpen. We've talked about it before, but I still don't have complete faith in that Royals bullpen to be able to hold on to all the close games. The Guardians probably have the best bullpen in baseball, and Emmanuel Clase is back to being arguably the best closer in baseball. And I watched him pitch on 3 consecutive games and get 3 saves. And you just don't see that, guys that are going not just back-to-backs, but back-to-back-to-back and getting the job done and looking fresh in his 3rd appearance in that many days. So when you have a closer that good and you have a team that's constantly pushing across that run late to give yourself that 1-run lead, and that's all you need when you can shorten the game to 8 innings. And with the Guardians, with the bullpen they have, sometimes they can shorten it to 7 or 6 innings, where they just you got to get to the final 9 outs for Cleveland, and you're going to be able to get the job done most times. I think that is really that secret sauce that separates the 90, the 95 win teams to the 100 win teams. The teams that can lock down all of those leads, those are the ones that get the job done.
As you said with Clase, right now, looking at Fangraphs wins above replacement, only Mason Miller is higher than Clase right now, so he's the 2nd best reliever in all baseball according to that statistic, or rather the American League. But then you go down the list, 5th in FWAR in the American League, Hunter Gaddis, their setup man. Their 7th inning guy, Kate Smith, is 6th in all of the American League. So
Crazy.
Half of the top 6 relievers right now, according to FWAR, pitch for the Cleveland Guardians. And then you go down the list, number 19, Tim Herron is also there. So 4 guys in the top 20, that are pretty elite right now. You're right. Like that's a huge component. And if you can go out and know that, look, you're going to be safe in the latter part of the inning, that allows your pitching to hold the score and allows your offense that many more bites at the apple to come from behind if you're not already in the lead.
I wonder just if I don't know if it's a renaissance of the closer, but there's something to be said about the value of a good closer. And comparing these two teams, head to head, James McArthur is sort of the de facto guy there. He's sit with a 3.8 ERA and a WHIP of 1.3. Clase's got a 0.33 ERA. It's not even close, and it just shows the difference. But I'm also even looking sort of as we stretch beyond these two teams. Ryan Helsley has 17 saves, and how many wins do the Cardinals even have this year? Like that alone is mind-boggling, because he's probably saved 2/3 of their victories. I have to look. Are they at like 25 wins right now, something like that? Yeah, they're 25 and 26. And he's got 17 saves. So the closer role, I mean, you see even the reason the A's have been able to have a much better season up to this point than we would have expected is because of Mason Miller. So there is something to be said about having that guy in the 9th inning that is going to get the job done.
It's true. Yeah, it just shortens a game. That's what everyone used to say when you played the Yankees is, look, you're getting 24 outs. And there's a lot of times where he would go 2 innings. So that's 21 outs that you got to get, and the game's over at that point. So those players have that value. And, the metrics that we use with wins above replacement don't put the same value on it as teams do, because we see how much money closers and top relievers get, despite the fact that they're throwing a fraction of the innings as even a decent starting pitcher. Yet, again, if you have guaranteed outs there, that's how you get the job done, right? I think I don't know if they showed this in the film Moneyball, but in the book by Michael Lewis, they're basically saying, hey, we need to score this many runs in order to have X amount of wins, right? They just broke it down that way. And so they're grabbing guys with on-base percentage, that are undervalued and things of that nature. And if, again, 27 outs is used to be the only clock, if you will. It used to be the only thing you would time in baseball, if you will, or measure a game by. If you can shorten that to 24, 21, or in the case of the Cleveland Guardians, 18 outs on a night-in, night-out basis, yeah, you are going to have one of the best records in all of baseball.
It really does just make things so much easier on a team. And I on the Foul Territory podcast, I heard them talking about what's more valuable, the ace or the lockdown closer. And you have former players on the show, and they were just talking about that mental advantage it gives you as a team, just knowing that, hey, you get a lead, it's huge. And on the other side of it, if you're playing down and you know that Clase is waiting in the 9th, you feel like you press a little bit as a hitter in those late innings in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, which maybe helps those other guys below Clase be so dominant because they're going against a team that's maybe gripping the bat a little bit tighter. So it really is an interesting discussion about the value of a closer. And that's why when we eventually get to the trade deadline, when you look at a guy like Mason Miller that might be out there or a guy like Ryan Helsley that might be out there, that's where those relief pitchers get so much more, not only in contracts, but also when they're traded, because there's just an inherent extra value you got to put on the guys that have been battle tested in that 9th inning, getting the final 3 outs.
I certainly had never thought of it in that capacity with, hey, this guy is pitching the 9th inning, so here's our opportunity. It's almost the same thing when you have someone like Shohei Ohtani or Freddie Freeman, whatever, protecting you in the lineup. You're going to see better pitches because they're worried about the guy behind you, right? So they need to get you out in some shape or form. So they don't want to walk you. So they're going to give you some more opportunities for better or worse. And so I'd never thought of it in that way of like, hey, the guy in the 9th is almost protecting the guy in the 8th because he's so dominant. So that very well could be the case, for these guys that, Emmanuel Clase is the dude right now. He's definitely on that Hall of Fame path. But, we also said that about Francisco Rodriguez way back when, and he's still waiting for the call. So we'll see.
Yeah, you got to really put it together when it comes to a career to get to the Hall of Fame as a closer. But those guys are truly special. Can we just open up a little side wing? If we're not going to put them in, like, let's just, put a shed out to the side. The best relievers, just put it somewhere. Give us an exhibit.
No, it's the back door, right?
Back door.
You close the door on your way out.
There you go.
The names of all the little players.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Maybe just like put their names like in the path, engrave it in the cobblestone and just
on the way to the exit with
exactly.
The door closed. You're like, oh, Armando Benitez, look at that. Oh, John Franco finally is being acknowledged.
You just threw some former Mets at me to put a smile on my face, didn't you? Armando Benitez.
It.
Good stuff. Braden Looper, how about that?
Loop the poop. Okay.